A very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. I must say, welcome back. We all have now adjusted to this new normal, and Ahmedabad Vikasa is committed to give you a platform so that we can sharpen our skills or invest in new skills. And one of the favorite skills is the IT skills. Whether it is Microsoft Excel 14 or 16, Excel itself is an ocean. And the more we explore it, the more we are able to get use of it. And today we have an expert faculty with us, my friend, Women Empowerment Committee convener, CA Zalak. So without taking much time, I would request the Vice Chairman of Vikasa, Keval Trivedi, to introduce our expert faculty of the day, CA Zalak Parikh.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, friends, today's our webinar speaker is CS Zalak Parikh. She is the partner of Chintalwala and Company. She had secured the third rank in Ahmedabad and eighth rank in a board examination of 12th standard. Also in 15th rank in PCC examination and third rank in DISA examination. She is also a conveyor of Women Empowerment Committee of Ahmedabad branch of WRC of ICI, and she has recently participated in All India radio station as a anchor. So without taking much time, I am handing over the session to our speaker today. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I thank Ahmedabad branch and team Vikasa, and especially CA Anjali Chokshi, chairperson of Vikasa, for arranging this kind of seminar in the time of lockdown. And I also welcome you all and thank you all for taking some time out and doing this Excel. I hope everyone is having laptops with them. Okay, so this is Excel. Today's lecture is on Excel formulas. So it would be easier if everyone is doing all the Excel formulas along with me. So for that, I request everyone have your laptop or desktop along with you while you are attending this lecture. And for the convenience, I am sharing this link of examples. Please download it in your desktop and so that you can do all the practical examples along with me. So I'm sharing this link in this chat box. Please download this Excel sheet in your desktop first. Are you all are with me? Please raise your hand. Okay. Are you able to download this link? Okay. So we'll start with in 2 minutes. Please keep this Excel sheet downloaded in your laptop and practice all the examples along with me. So I guess everybody has downloaded this Excel sheet and all are with me, right? So today we are, just a minute. So today we are going to deal with this 13 Excel formulas which we can use in our daily office use, and which are very much helpful, and which is going to make our office day-to-day work very easy. So the 13 formulas are index, match, IS number, indirect, choose, frequency, D average, D get, D mean, D max, D sum, GCD, and MMULT. So all these functions are of advanced Excel level. So I assume that we all are we are very much accommodated with basic Excel, and we know what is the function, how the arguments are incorporated in function and everything. So this is advanced level Excel. So here all the functions are of advanced Excel, right? So today's first function is index. So we'll first see what this function is doing. So index, this function picks up a value from a range of data by looking down a specified number of rows and then across a specified number of columns. So it can be used with a single block of data or non-continuous block of data. So what is the syntax of this function? Let us see what is the syntax of this function. So syntax of the function means is equal to, if we'll type a function in Excel like this, is equal to index bracket start. So that here we can see what is the syntax of this function. What are the arguments in this function? So we can see there are 3 arguments in this function: array, row number, and a column number. So array, this is the first argument. All arguments in a formula are separated by a comma. We all know this thing, right? So in this function, first argument is a array. Array means the data, a table, or a combination of rows and column. Which is the target of our function. So array is a table in simple terms. Second argument is row number. Row number is a number of row from where we are calling for data. And the similar way, column number is a number of column from where we are looking for a data. So we have a simple example of a CA coaching fees per student per month like this. Okay. So we have number 1, 2, 3, 4 students and weeks 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we have their data like CA coaching fees per student per month for 1, 2, 3, 4 students and 1, 2, 3 weeks. And now we want to find out cost per person for a specified number of week and specified number of students. So how we can do with this with the help of index function. So you all can type this function along with me in your respective Excel sheets. So here the function is equal to index bracket start. The first argument is array. So here we need to define a array, total data. So how we'll define an array? This is like select from first cell to the last cell. So the whole array, whole table is selected now. So the first argument is over. Now put comma. Now the second argument. As you can see, as we are moving forward, the argument which we are supposed to be entering gets highlighted in Excel. So here row number is now highlighted. So now we need to define a row number here. So what is the row number? What is the data that is in row in our data? Let us see. Week 1, 2, 3 is in a row form in our data. So here in the second argument, we need to define a row number. So where row number means the week number is defined in our Excel, it is here in F13. So we'll select F13 here. So we have defined the second argument now. Now put a comma. Now the third argument is a column number. So what is the data in a column? That is students, number of students, 1, 2, 3, 4. Students, our data is in a column format. So here we need to define in the third argument, at the third place, we need to define the number of column. So that is how many students are there. So where number of students are defined in our data in F14. Okay, so the whole our function is now complete. We can close the bracket, and we'll let us see whether we have got the result or not. So for 3 week and 2 students, what is the answer? For 3 week, just a minute. For 3 week, 2 students, the answer is 500, right? So here is our answer is here 500, and that is what we are getting here in our function. So our function is correct, our formula is correct. So this is how index function works. It first goes in the data and try to find the specified cell value from a specified row and then specified column. So that is how index function works. So let us see the second example. So our second example is like this. We have so sometimes we have data only in the form of either single row or a single column. We don't have a table of multiple rows and columns here. So how we can define index function over here? So is equal to index. We need to first define our table. What is the data table? That is C24 to E24. This is our data table. We have defined first argument, then second. So second, here we have only single row. So we don't need to define what is the row number here. We can directly define what is the column number we require, what is where we are looking for. We can directly define column number. Here we have gold, silver and platinum in a single row, but different columns, right? So the second argument, which is row number, it automatically gets converted into column number when we have only single row data. Okay, so here in the second argument, we can directly define column number, that is specified in D26. Now close bracket, and the answer is platinum. So though we have defined third in second argument number of columns, still we are getting the result because our data is in a single row. The similar way, we have a data in a single column. We have only single column and multiple rows like this. So here the data is we have a data like this. We have 3 rows. There's 3 rows, but we are having a single column. Okay, so in this case, we can define our Excel formula like in the similar fashion, is equal to index. Then define your whole table, comma, and then define either row number or a column number. So the row number is defined in cell number D37. So we'll select that D37 and bracket over. So see, the third number data in our table is platinum, and we are getting the result as platinum with this simple function, right? Okay, so till now we have seen a data where we have a single table or data which is a continuous block of data. But sometimes we have data like in a we have multiple tables or multiple block of data. Like see, we have something kind of this. We have a continent Europe and continent Asia. And for that, we have different countries and different data like currency, population, and capital. Now, with the help of uh, this simple table like continent, country, and detail, we need to find the result. What is the something that is lying in specified continent, country, and detail? Like here, the question is continent number 2. Look for value in a continent number 2, that is Asia, country number 1, that is India, and detail number 3, that is capital. So answer should be New Delhi. But how we can do this with the help of index function? So let us start by defining our index function here is equal to index as always what we are starting is equal to index bracket start. Now the most important part, when we have a non-continuous block of data, we need to again put a bracket over here to define our array. Our when we have two different array, we need to again put a start a bracket over here, then select the first table, that is this. We have selected our first data, then put a comma. Now select the second data, that is this. Now bracket over. So here now we have defined the whole array with the help of comma. We have separated two different tables with the comma, and this completes our first argument, that is array. So now we have defined array. Now put a comma. We are onto the second argument, that is the row number. What is the row number? Rows are in our table. We have different countries in rows. So here we need to define the country number. So where country number is defined in C58. So we'll select C58. Now column number. What is the data in a column? Currency, population, and capital, that is in a column. So we need to find out what is the column where column number is defined in our Excel sheet. So it is defined in detail. It is defined in C59. And now the most important thing, see here the area number is getting highlighted. So here when we have two different non-continuous block of data, we need to define we also need to define which block number which block of data we are looking our data from. So here we have two blocks of data, Europe and Asia. So Europe is the first data and Asia is the second data. So here we are looking for data from continent number 2, that is Asia. So we need to define second argument, the fourth and last argument as the what is the continent number. So we'll put a comma and select cell number C58 that specifies the continent number in bracket over. So we are getting the result as New Delhi. Okay. So this is how index function works when we have a non-continuous block of data. When we are two or more block of data, we can specify them with the help of different commas, and we can put this in a second bracket of data. So for those who are unable to do this exercise along with me, I'll share this Excel sheet in the chat section. So you can have it with for your future reference as well. Okay, so now we are moving forward to the next function, that is a match. So we have a data like this. So firstly, what this function is doing, match function. This function looks for an item in a list and shows its position. So it is exactly reverse of index function. In index function, we are providing number of row and column, and the Excel returns us data. Whereas in match, we are providing we are inputting data into it, and Excel will give us in return the position of that specified data, whether it is at first position, second position, and so on. So it is reverse of what we can call reverse of index function. So how this function practically works? So we have data like this names Umesh, Suresh, Rakesh and Mahesh, and we are looking for a name Rakesh. What is the position of specified value Rakesh in our this data? So how we can find out with the help of Excel. So let us start our formula by is equal to match bracket start lookup. See, the first argument in match function is a lookup value. What value you are looking for? What is the value we are looking for here? Is a Rakesh, that is defined in cell number E9. Now start a put a comma. The second argument is a lookup array. So what is the array where we are looking for this value, the Rakesh value, where we are looking for? We are looking for in this data. So we'll define our array like this: cell E4 to E7, comma. And the third argument is a match type. So in a match function, there are three types: exact match, less than, and greater than. But when we have a data in the form of text, we always specify exact match, because there cannot be less than or greater than in a text form. So here we'll define 0. So it will find the exact match of Rakesh on the given data, and we'll close our. So we have got the result as 3. So Rakesh is at the third position in our given data. Okay, so similarly, when we have a data like in a value, when we have values and we want to find out a specified value, we'll specify is equal to match lookup value, that is 600, then lookup array, select the array, and match type 0. So it will find us out that 600 is at a second position in a given data. Okay, so we'll now see what is the match type -1 and +1. We have seen what is match type 0 in above 2 examples. So as we have seen, uh, we have data like 10, 20, 30, 40, and we want to find out what is the value that is lesser than 25. Okay, something lesser than 25. So what is the value that is lesser than 25? In our given data, 10 and 20 are lesser than 25. But for match function, there can be only single answer to this question. So Excel will give us the highest value that is lesser than 25. So Excel will give position of a highest value that is lesser than given value. So what is the highest value lesser than 25 in our given example? That is 20. So our answer is 20, right? So how we'll define our match function to get the the result we want is equal to match lookup value, that is 25, specify lookup value, comma, specify lookup array, that is B18 to B21, and then the third thing, what will be the match type here? We will select not exact match, right? We are looking for less than value. So what is the match type for less than? That is 1, right? So we'll select 1 here, input and close our bracket. So answer is 2. So 25 is at the second position. The value that is lesser than 25, highest value that is lesser than 25 is lying at second position in given data. Similar way, when we have a data like 40, 30, 20, 10, and we want to find out what is value that is more than 25. So what is more than 25? Means we have two values in more than 25, like 30 and 40 both are more than 25. But as match type, match function only gives result 1. So Excel will give us result that is least amount, that is more than 25. So what is the least amount more than 25 in our given data? That is 30, right? So how the match function will work is equal to match lookup value, select lookup value, put a comma, then lookup array, and this is more than. This is here we are finding more than data, so we'll select -1, match type as -1, and close the curve. So answer is 2. So friends, here one important thing we need to understand, that when we are looking for data that is lesser than data, we must have data in our ascending format. See, like here we have data in a ascending format, right? And similar way, when we are looking for a data that is more than some, we are finding more than, we must have a data in a descending format. Why this is so? Because in Excel, always Excel will start searching for a given value from the first cell. So first it will ask this cell whether the given criteria is condition is fulfilling, whether the Excel whether 20 the first cell is lesser than 25, it will say yes. So answer is yes for this. Then it will move to the second field, whether the given criteria is specified criteria is meeting, fulfilling, the second value is less than 25, it will say yes. Then it will move to the third position, whether the given criteria is fulfilling, it will say no. It will say no, it is not getting fulfilled. So it will stop there. It will stop at the second position and it will give us result as 2. But similar way, if we'll put we'll try to do more than exercise here, what will happen if we'll put more than function here instead of less than? If we'll try to find out what is more than value in a given data, we'll try to find out -1. It will say the result will say as a not available. It will show us not available error. Why this is showing us this kind of error? Because our data is not in a descending format. So first Excel will go in the first cell and it will ask us whether it is more than 25. It will say no. So Excel will stop there and give us error. So in case when we have a data not in a descending format, we cannot find out more than value. We must have a data in a descending format to for the match type -1, that is more than value, right? So Excel has this limitation, match function has this limitation, that for less than finding out value that is less than something, we must have a data in ascending format, and for something like more than value, we must have a data in a descending order. So similarly, if we have something that is not in an exact value and we'll specify match type as exact, again it will show us error. So let us try to find out, if we are trying to search 25 in this data, what answer Excel will give us. Start writing as is equal to match lookup value, lookup array, and try to find out exact match with this. Then put a 0 and it will show us error, not available, right? So when Excel is not having a data in a specified ascending or descending format, or it is not having an exact value, it will show us error like not available. Okay, so we have seen how match function works, right? So now most important thing here to understand is that this thing we are doing in VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Like in VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP also we are doing this similar thing. We are giving it a specified criteria, and then in result we are getting specified value from the given table. But the same thing VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP we can do with the help of this index and match function. We need to combine both this function, index and match, to get the similar result that we are getting from VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. And if you will start practicing this, I'm sure you will start using this function instead of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP function from now on. So how index and match function works together and do the same work that is VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP is doing. Let us start our third example. So we have bus sizes. We have different bus with different sizes. We have bus A, B, C, D, E, and bus size like 54, 50, 22, and 15 and 6. We want to find, we have passengers on tour like 25. We need to find out what is the bus we need to go for. So when we have 25 passengers on tour, we must go for a bus that is something that is having capacity more than 25. Right. So with the simple looking at the data, we can see that we must go for bus number B. But how we can do this with the help of Excel function, that is index and match. So first, with the help of match function, we can find out the value from a data. So very importantly, our data is in a descending format, so we can shoot this more than criteria in this database, right? So we have a data in a descending format and we can find out match type as more than. So let us do this. How we can find out what is the bus size we need to go for with the help of match function. Match function, start writing match function as is equal to match, bracket start, lookup value. We are looking for 25 passengers. Lookup array, that is C31 to C35, and match type is more than. We are looking for a bus size that is more than 25. So our match type will be -1, bracket over. So we have got the result as 2. But this is not the answer to our query. We need to find out the bus name, which bus we want to go for. So for that, we need to use index function along with match function. So we'll start writing is index function is equal to index. So index function will give us result what is lying in the second position that we have already find out with the help of match function. So is equal to index array. Where is the data that we are looking for our answer in? We are looking for our answer from this data, bus A, B, C, D, E. So our array will be bus A, B, C, D, E, that is B31 to B35. The second number is row number. So we have already find the row number with the help of match function. Again, we can type it over here like this is equal to match, lookup value 25, lookup array, this, and match type is -1. Close the comma for match function and again close the comma for index function. And so our answer is bus number B. So with the help of index and match function combine effort of index and match function, we get our answer as bus B. So here we can see that this is the similar thing that is VLOOKUP is doing, right? But it is a more robust and more easy to understand than VLOOKUP. I think that is more complex and its formatting is more complex than index and match function. So with the help of index match function, we can find out what is lying, what is the passenger bus we need for 25 passengers. Let us again do the same exercise. How index and match function works in a together. We have exam scores like for 0 to 30 score, grade should be fail. For 30 to 50, the grade should be pass. For 50 to 70, the grade should be merit. And above 70, grade should be distinction. And we have data of pupils A, B, C, D, and their score 25, 55, 75, and 60. And we need to find out what grade we must give to these pupils. So for this, we must use both the function index and match. With the help of match function, the Excel will find out where this 25 is lying. So for this, for pupil score 25, where Excel should go for to something that is lesser than 25. Okay, so we must find out less than value than specified value. So for less than data, our data must be in a ascending order. So here our data is in ascending order, right? 0, 30, 30, 15, 70. It is in ascending order. So our data is correct in a correct format. We can go for match function. And so the match function will give us where our data is, where is it is lying in this table. It will give us result where it is lying in this table, but we need to find out what is the grade of a pupil. So that is lying in a second column, that is a grade column. So for finding out grade, we must use index function, right? So with the help of both the function, we will find out what is the grade to be given to a specified pupil. So start writing this function as is equal to index bracket start array, where we are looking, what we are looking for, we are looking for a grade. So we'll select all the grades here that are defined in cell number C42 to C45. Now put a comma. We are moving forward to the next argument, that is a row number. So where is row number defined? It is not defined. We need to find out. We need to find out with the help of match function. So we'll in the second argument, we'll define the match function. Match. Okay. So what is the value we are looking for? That is pupil value. That is defined in cell number F42. So where we are looking for this pupil score in a given data. So it is defined in exam score, cell number B42 to B45. What is the match type? We are looking for a value something lesser than the pupil score. So that is what the grade we must give to a pupil. So we are looking for a value lesser than a pupil score. So we must define match type as 1. We'll define match type as 1 and we'll close the bracket. So we have got the row number and we have already defined what is the grade we need to find with the help of index function. We'll again close the bracket and the answer is fail. So for pupil with a score 25, its grade is fail. So if you want to copy this data in all the cells, we must first convert our absolute cell reference, relative cell reference into an absolute cell reference. So we'll edit this formula and put $sign where the range is defined. So we can do this with the help of F4 as well. Select cell and select F4. It will convert relative cell into absolute cell, or you can do this with the shift 4 as well. Convert your range into a absolute cell reference and copy this formula in all the pupil score. And the result is we have got result for all the pupils. We have got grades for all the pupils. So here with the help of index and match function, we can get result of we can find out what is lying in a specified row, specified column for a specified criteria. So this is how index match function works. We'll move forward to the next function, that is IS number. So what this function do? IS number. This function basically examines a cell or calculation to determine whether it is a numeric value. IS number, is it a number or not? So it will give us result as true or false. True if the value is a number or date, and false if there is text or some error or something else is defined in the cell. So it will examine a cell and return answer as true or false for a given cell. So how it is very simple function. Let us start writing as is number. Select the cell value that we want to examine. We want to examine B6, whether it is a number or not. Close comma, and the value is true. Yes. So the 1 is a number and the answer is true. Whether date is a number or not. So Excel understands date as a number. So again, if we'll put fire the same formula in the second cell, it will give us value as true. What is the blank? Whether it is a number or not, it will say no. The blank is not a number. The answer is false. 1 by 0. 1 by 0 is a number or not? 1 by 0, 1 is a number, 0 is a number, but 1 by 0 is a error. So this is not a number. So again, it will say as false. Hello, text. Text is a number or not? It is not number, so answer will be false. So is number examines a cell and then give us a result whether that specified value is a number or not. We are moving forward to the next function, that is indirect. Okay. So what this function do? What does it do? This function converts a plain piece of text which looks like a cell address into usable cell reference. So in anywhere in our Excel sheet there is a cell number is defined and we want to find out what is lying in that cell number. So with the help of indirect function we can do the same thing. So here in this data we have a simple data and we have a address type address cell reference typed in cell number H10. In H10 cell reference is typed as F6, right? So we want to find out what is cell value of given cell in cell number H10. H10 में जो भी लिखा है, जो भी cell लिखा है, उसका value क्या है? So how to find out what is the cell value that is lying in a specified cell value in a given cell. So we want to find out what is lying in cell number F6. We'll do this with the help of indirect function is equal to indirect. Now specify cell number H10 and this will give us result what is lying in cell number F6. So though we have defined H10 here, it is giving us result as what is lying in cell number H6, F6, that is 40. So if we'll again here we'll type it as H6, whether it gives us result or yes. So if we are as we changing cell number here, it changes the value of cell that is typed in the cell. Okay, so that is how indirect function works. The third function, that is a choose. What choose function do? This function picks up from a list of options based upon an index value given to by the user. So when we need to give medals or we need to give rank or something for given positions, we can use this function choose. So we have data like runners data, runner A, B, C, D, E in their timing, the time in which they have completed their run. So we need to first identify what is the position of A, B, C, D, E in a given data. So how we can find out position? For position, we must use a rank function. We can otherwise do it manually, but we'll not. Here we are also using rank function. So with the help of rank function, first we'll define their numbers, their positions is equal to rank, then number, and then give a reference cells. So the position of person A is a second. We'll convert this in a absolute cell reference. and copy this in all the data. So we have got the result as, we have got what is the position of A, B, C, D, E. Okay, but here as our data is in ascending order, we must specify also the order in which we want. We want it in a descending order. Sorry, we need to find it in ascending order. More the time, the rank position will be higher. So it should be in ascending order. So with the help of rank function, we have first find out what is the position of A, B, C, D runners. Now we want to give medal to A, B, C, D, E. Like first position should get a gold, second position should get a silver, third should get a bronze. So with the help of choose function, we can do the same thing, is equal to choose. Now specify index number, that is in cell number E6. Now value 1. What if the result of choose function is 1? What we want to give to the first rank? Define it in a bracket, like in double comma, like gold, comma, what is the value 2? What we want to give to the second position, that is silver. What we want to give to the third position, that is bronze. And what if if it is not in a first gold, silver and bronze? Then unplaced, in bracket over. So for the fourth position, the medal given is unplaced. That is, we have defined in the fourth place. Then in the fourth argument, we have defined it as unplaced. Let us copy paste it in all the. And for the first position, the award, that medal that is to be given is gold. For the second, the medal to be given is silver, bronze, and for rest of them unplaced. So this is how choose function works. Okay, so this is important function, frequency. So what does frequency function do? Frequency, this function compares the range of data against a list of intervals. And the result shows how many times in the range of data fall between the intervals. So in a given data, we have a data like this, north, south, east, west, January, February, March. We have sales data of different months for different regions. And we want to find out what is the sales below, how many times sales is occurring below 4,000. How many times sales is occurring from 4,000 to 6,000, and how many times sales is occurring from 6,000 and higher, it is more than 6,000. So how we can find out? So with the help of frequency function, we can find out how many times specified value is occurring, value that is lying in between specified range of data is occurring. So for a frequency function, we must have beans like we have 4,000, 6,000 and something, that is the maximum value possible in the data. Okay, so we must define this. The maximum value that is possible is 9,99,999. This is the random data. That is the maximum value that is possible. We must define it. And this is very important when we are using a frequency function. We must define the highest limit. Okay, so we must first specify 4,000, 6,000 and 9,99,000. These are also called beans or a range where we are looking for our data. So again, the most important thing is frequency function always works in a group. It is always written for a group of cell. You cannot define frequency in a single cell. You must define it in a group of cell. So for group cells, we must define it in an array. It is called array function. The functions which are not working individually, they are working in a group, are called array functions. So frequency is the array function which is always written in a group of cells and not individually. So how we can write an array function? So first, as we are writing normal function, we must write out this frequency function is equal to frequency, start a comma, the data array, where is the whole data is lying, where is the whole sales data is lying in our Excel sheet, that is in this cell number D6 to F9. So we have defined the data array, comma, and the bean array. Where is the bean is defined, where are the intervals are defined in our data. So they are defined in cell number E11 to E30, 4,000, 6,000, and 99,000 defined in cell number E11 to E30. So we'll select the beans array. We'll close our bracket. So it will give us result 4. So 4 times in our given data, sales is occurring below 4,000. Now, it is very important, most important thing, how to write this function over a group of cells. We don't only need to find what is the value that is 4,000 and below. We also need to find what is value between 4,000 and 6,000 and above 6,000. So for that, first select all the cells where we want to find out the results. Press F2 and then press Ctrl Shift and enter. All are with me? Let us do this again. First, specify a frequency function for the first cell, that is equal to frequency. First argument define all the data, and in the second argument define all the intervals and close the data. And then select all the cells, press F2 and then Control Shift Enter. You see that we have got result for all the selected areas. Also, if you can see that this function has got this formula, extra brackets in starting and ending. So this what does this bracket mean? This means this function is not a single function. It is not individually defined. It is defined in an array. So this is how array function work. You cannot delete a single cell when you have function in an array format. If you try to delete this 5 from here, it will show us error that you cannot change part of an array. You cannot change a single array, single function, single cell. You must always need to delete the whole cell, whole range of data, whole array. Then only this function will get deleted. So again, how frequency function is defined, write it down as we are writing all the other functions. Write frequency, select the data array, comma, then define frequency that is defined in the cells, close your bracket. Now select all the cells, press F2 and then select Control Shift and enter, and you get result for all the given data. Okay, all are with me? What is the chat box? Okay. So we have a second example. We have examples like a different child with different weight, and we need to find out. We need to find out what is the how many children are having weight from 0 to 15 kg, 15 to 20 kg, and above 20 kg. So for the array, we must first define the intervals. So what is the interval over here? The first interval is 50, the second interval is 20, and the third is the highest possible value, that is highest possible weight of children, will define it as 100. Okay, so that is the random value. We can define anything higher than this. Okay, so we have defined our intervals as 15.
पानी नहीं दिया है.
Now we'll define our frequency function is equal to frequency. Define our data array. Where is data of where is the whole data is defined? It is defined in cell number C19 to C27. Put a comma. What is the bean array? That is 15, 20, and we have defined 1000 in bean array, which is lying in cell number K90 to K21. Close your bracket and complete your formula. So we have got result as 2. Two children are having their weight from 0 to 15 kg. Now we want to find out for the rest of the cells. We'll select all the cells over here. We'll again press F2 and then Control, Shift and Enter. So we have got a result for all the cells, that is for 15 to 20 kg. For weight 15 to 20, between 15 to 20 kg there are 4 children, and above 20 kg there are 3 children. So in total there are 9 children, and we have got them bifurcated, and we have got a frequency of all of them. Okay. So here this frequency function ends. We're moving on to this d average function. So now on there are 5 functions: d average, d cat, d min, d max and d sum. All these are database functions, and they all work when we have a jargon of data. We have a very complex data. We have multiple values, multiple products, multiple brands of data. We want to find out something from them, we must use database functions. So the first function is d average. What this function do? So d average function, these are very useful for your office use as well. So from now on you can use when you have a jargon of data and shoot these different queries on different database and get the required result. So what this d average function do? The first function is the d average. So this function examines a list of information and produces and average it. So when we have different data like product, different products, different wattages, different life hours, different brands, unit cost, box quantity, boxes in stock and value of stock. And we want to find out what is what is average cost of product bulk, right? So our criteria is product bulk, and we want to find out what is the average cost. Where is average cost? Where is cost is in our data? Where cost is lying? Can you define it? It is defined in cell number F5. It is here in this column. Unit cost is defined in this data. And where is the product bulk? Product bulk are there are multiple product bulbs and there are multiple unit cost for product bulb, and we want to find out what is the average cost in our data of product bulb. So we can do this with the help of d average function. So we'll write down the function as d average is equal to d average start bracket. So the first argument in this function is a database. So here we need to first identify what is the whole database, whole data in our given example. So whole data is this product to value of stock. So whole, we'll select the whole data along with the titles. So select it like this. Select the whole database. Everyone is with me? Yes. Now put a comma. Now the second argument, that is the field, what we are looking for. What field we are looking for in this database. We have defined our database, but what we are looking for from this data? We are looking for unit cost. So where is unit cost defined it? It is defined in cell number F5. We just need to specify a title and it will automatically select the whole column. So the field we are looking for is the unit cost. The second argument is over. The third argument is the criteria. What is the criteria? Which are the criteria we need to satisfy to find out the average unit cost? So we want to find out, our criteria is that the product should be bulk. So where we have defined our criteria, we have defined it here in cell number 23 and 24. We must select it along with the title. Always remember, we must specify a criteria along with the title. Then only Excel can understand that we are looking for a criteria in this cells, in this column. Okay, so we'll specify in third argument our criteria as product bulk. We'll close the cell and the answer is 1.59. So in a given data for product bulk, we have different unit costs like 4.5, 0.2, 5, 0.25, 0.20, 0.15 and 0.80. So if we try to average this thing manually, the answer will be 1.59. So this is how this function works. D-average functions all start for looking for a value in a given database in a given field, and then it will go for what is the data that is satisfying a given criteria. It will also work when we have a multiple criteria, multiple conditions to shoot. So we have example like this. We have product bulk and brand horizon. We want to find out what is the average cost of horizon brand bulk. So how we can do this? Again, we'll start the function in a similar way. Start typing it as d average, start a bracket, define the whole database along with title, comma, what we are looking for, what field we are looking for, what we want to average. We want to average unit cost, so we'll select cell number F5 in the second argument. Then comma, what is the criteria? So our criteria is defined in cell number D30 to E31. So in the third argument, we'll define D30 to E31, that is the criteria, and close our bracket. So the answer is 1.43. So for product bulb horizon brand, the average cost of bulb is 1.43. Again, we can do this when we want to find out something more than less than also. We want to find out what is the average cost of bulb, product bulb that is having greater than, that is having a wattage greater than 100 and less than 50. That is greater than 50 and less than 100. So we want to find out average cost of bulb that is less than 100 and greater than 50. So this way also this function works. Let us start our function as the average, bracket, select the database, select the whole data, whole table. What field we are looking for? Again, we are looking for unit cost. Put a comma, and where is the criteria? What is the criteria that is defined in cell number B38 to B39. Close our bracket. So here for the bulb having wattage less than 100 and greater than 50, the average cost is 0.80. So this is how d average function was. So similar way we have a function like dgat. What this function do? So dgat gives us result for dgat gives us one result, only and only one result. This function only works when we have only single result of a given criteria, and we want to find out what is that result. So in this database, we want to find out how many boxes of a particular item do we have in stock. We want to find out what is the number of boxes available for product bulb having wattage 100 and life hours 1000 and brand horizon. We want to find out what is the how many number of boxes we have for specified criteria. So this we can do with the function dgat. So we'll start writing as dgat. We defined our database. So the field, what is the thing that we are looking for in this equation? We are looking for how many boxes of a particular item. So boxes in a stock we are looking for, right? So we'll select as H3 as the field. put a comma. The third thing, that is a criteria, where criteria is defined. It is defined in cell number C24 to F25. So in the third argument, we will define our criteria and close our bracket. So the answer is value. Why this is so? Let's find out what is the answer for this data. So for bulb, wattage 100. There is sunbeam and horizon, two brands are there, but we are looking for 1000 life hours. So in our given data, there is no value that is having that is satisfying a given criteria. So the answer is giving as error. But if we have something like, we'll define our life hours as 2000, whether this works. So yes, for bulb, wattage 100, life hours 2000 and brand horizon, the boxes in stock is a 5. Again, we must have a unique result for this question. We must have a question that has a unique result. Then only this function works. If we have a multiple result, this function again will show error. If we'll uh, change our database like this, we'll change this also to 2000 and this also to horizon. See, the answer is showing as error as NUM. NUM means there are multiple results to a specified criteria, and so Excel is confused and showing us error. So for dget function, we must have a unique value that is satisfying a given criteria. Then only this function will work, right? Okay, so we are moving forward to the next function, that is dmin. So again, for the same database, we want to find out what is the minimum value that is satisfying a given criteria. So with the help of dmin function, we can find out what is the minimum value that is satisfying a given criteria. So we want to find out lowest value of stock of a particular product of a particular brand. We want to find out what is the lowest value of stock of product bulb in brand Sunbeam. So how we'll write this function is equal to dmin. Again, start a bracket and define the whole database as we are doing for the database function. Define the whole database, put a comma. Now what we are looking for, the value of stock. We are looking for the lowest value of stock. Where value of stock is defined in our database, value of stock is defined in cell number I4. Then put a comma, and what is the criteria? That product should be bulb and the brand should be Sunbeam. So define your criteria as B24, 25 to C26 and close the bracket. Answer is 0. Why? Because for product bulb Sunbeam, the lowest value is 0. Just trying to find out if we have 1 to 20 here. So if we have multiple values like for bulb and Sunbeam, we have multiple values like 30, which are the fields that are satisfying this criteria. Bulb and Sunbeam, the one value is 30, the second value is 12.5, and the third value is 20. So what is the lowest amongst all? That is 12.5. So the answer is 12.5. Okay. Again, when we have multiple criteria, like we want to find out what is the we want to define criteria as something lesser than, equal to something, something more than this, that is also we can define. We can also define criteria in similar fashion as we have done with d average. We can find out what is the lowest value of stock of product bulb having a wattage greater than equal to 80 and less than equal to 100. So how we will write this function for this criteria? In a similar fashion, we will start our dmin function. We'll select the whole database, put a comma, field. We are looking for the lowest value of stock. So we'll select value of stock. In the third argument, we'll select the whole criteria. So criteria is defined in cell number B35 to B36. Close your bracket. And the answer is 12.5. So the lowest value of stock for bulb, product bulb having wattage between 100 to 80 is 12.5. Similar way, we have a dmax function. So this function is reverse to dmean, as the name denotes. It will find out some largest value that is that is lying in a given criteria, given database and satisfying given criteria. So we want to find out what is the maximum value of product bulb having wattage 100. So largest value of stock is. So we'll start writing our function as is equal to dmax. Select your database. Select the whole database along with the titles. Then select the field. We are looking for value of stock. So we'll select in second argument cell number I3, that is value of stock. Put a comma, and in the third field, that is criteria. Third argument is the criteria that is defined in cell number B24 to C25. And close formula. The answer is 40. So the largest value of stock for product bulb having wattage 100 is 40. So this is how this function works. So we have also a second example of different criteria like product bulb having wattage 100, life hours 1000, and brand 0, brand horizon. We want to find out what is the number in stock. So we can do this with the help of dmax. What is the largest number in stock? So the largest value of number in stock. So with the help of dmax function, we can find the answer. Select the whole database. Select the field, that is value of stock, and then in the third argument, select the criteria. Close. So the largest value of stock for this given criteria is 0. Let us find out whether the answer is correct or not. Bulb, how many fields that are satisfying the given criteria? So we have no data, so the answer is giving us 0. So first we'll change our data like this. For two fields, 100,000 in the brand horizon. So we have changed our data and selected multiple, rows with this, which are satisfying the given criteria, and let us find out the answer is giving us correct answer or not. Yes, the 40 is the largest value that is available for the given criteria. Okay. So this is how this function dmax works. So similar way we have dsum function. So what this function do? So this function gives us total value of a, it is totals the given values of a that are satisfying specified criteria. So when we have a data like product bulb and brand sunbeam, and we want to find out what is the total value of stock, we want to find out total of all the values that is satisfying a given criteria. So the question we should form is like, so what is the total value of stock of a particular product of a particular brand? We want to find out what is the total value of product bulb having a brand sunbeam. So we'll again write the function as dsum, defined in the first argument the whole database, put a comma, then define a field. We are looking for value of stock. So the second argument is the value of stock that is defined in cell number I3, then comma. Then the third thing is the criteria. So we'll again select the criteria fields B24 to C25 and close the bracket. So the total value of bulb product bulb brand sunbeam in value of stock is 42.5. Similarly, when we have a we want to find out total value of stock between two wattages, we can do this like in the similar fashion. Start writing the function as dsum, bracket start, define the whole database, comma, define the field value of stock, and then in the end, define the criteria. So we have got the total value of stock for product bulb having wattage between 80 to 100, and it totals all the cells that is satisfying a given criteria. Okay. So here the database function is over. We have seen how this all database functions work. Now moving forward to the next function, that is the GCD. GCD means greatest common divisor. The name, as the name denotes, it is greatest common divisor amongst a given set of numbers. So in practical life, we are always having this kind of thing, that how to find out what is the greatest common divisor amongst multiple numbers. So with the help of GCD function, we can find out that. So we have numbers like 18, 72 and 96. So manually we can understand the 6 is the greatest common divisor amongst all. So but how to find this out with the help of Excel function? So we can do this like select is equal to GCD, start a bracket and select all the range of data. Close your bracket and the answer is 6. So 6 is the greatest common division amongst all, and that we can find out with the help of GCD function. The similar thing we can do when we have 300, 500 and 200. The greatest common divisor is 100. So we'll apply the same formula to the second row and it will give us result as 100. When we have data like in a fraction, like we have 2.5 in a value, we have value like 2.5. So 2.5 is not considered Excel as to find out what is greatest common division. It will round it off as a 2. It will Excel will GCD function avoids the fraction and gives the result. So when we try to find out GCD of 2.5, 4 and 6, automatically Excel will find out the same result for 2, 4 and 6 and give us result. So if we'll do GCD for this 3 data, the answer will be 2. So it will give us result for what is greatest common divisor for 2, 4 and 6 instead of 2.5. Okay. This is over. This last function of this seminar of this webinar is MMULT. So what is MMULT? As the name suggests, MMULT means multiple multiplier. So MMULT multiplies different range of data. It multiplies multiple range of data and gives us result. So as the name suggests, MMULT multiple data and multiplies them and gives us result. So we can understand this with the help of practical example. Like we have data of chocolates in the box. We have different sizes of box like giant, standard and economy size. In a giant size of box, there are 3 types of chocolate: milk, dark and white. We have different number of chocolates. In a giant box, there are 50 milk chocolates, 50 dark chocolates and 50 white chocolates. In standard box, there are 30 milk chocolate, 20 dark and 10 white chocolates. And in economy size, there are 20 milk chocolate, 5 dark chocolate and 5 white chocolate. We have got customer orders like 300 giant boxes, 400 standard boxes and 500 economy boxes. And we want to find out what is the quantity that is required to be produced for product milk, dark and white. So with the help of MMULT, we can find the result. Here, friends, we must remember that this is also again like frequency. This is an array function, and this is always defined in a multiple cells, in a group of cells. You cannot define this function in an individual cell because it is a multiple cell value. It is a result that is shown across the range of data. So you cannot define it for a single cell. You must define cell this formula for a range of data. So for the same, first we'll start writing it as is equal to MMULT bracket. So array 1. So first we need to define our first array, that is customer orders 300, 400 and 500. We'll select first array, comma, and then we'll select the second array, that is chocolates that is lying in different sizes of boxes. We'll close the bracket. So here the answer is 37,000. So for different sizes of customer orders, we need to produce 37,000 milk chocolates. Now as we have seen, this is an array function, so we must define the whole function in the whole range of data, and for the same we must select all the range of data, all the cells, select all the cells where we want to find a result, then press F2 and then select Control Shift and enter. And you can see that the normal function is getting converted into array function. We have got this brackets in starting and ending of this function, and this denotes that this function is array function. So friends, here the important thing to remember is why I have defined this customer orders in the first range and not this thing in the first range, because this MMU, the rule of this MMULT function is that the result number of rows should be equal to the first array, and the result number of columns in result should be equal to the second array. So in result, we want to find out the one row, single row. So the second array is having a single row. So number of rows in our result and array 1 is equal, and number of columns in a result is 3, that is equal to the first array. So we want to find out milk, dark and white, that is 3 columns, that is in first in this this table, that is from C7 to E9. Are you all with me? Someone is asked, can you share this spreadsheet? Yes, I am sharing. I'm going to share the Google link of this spreadsheet in the end. Someone is asking, in which situation do we need to select first, press F2 and then press Control Shift Enter, and when to just copy paste. Okay, so when we have the function is array function, as we have seen frequency and MMULT, this both are array function, and these are always defined for a range of data, group of data, and for group of data, for a array function which is defined for a set of data, we must define it in a array function. So I'm again repeating this. So we have different set of data, like three different types of chocolates: milk, dark and white. And for different sizes of boxes, we have different chocolates in a box. For giant size of box, we have 50, 50 and 50 milk, dark and white chocolate. For in standard boxes, there are 30 milk, 20 dark and 10 white chocolates. In economy size, there are 20 milk, 5 dark and 5 white chocolates. And we have orders like for giant boxes, standard boxes and economy size boxes, we have different orders. And we want to find out what is the quantity that is required to be produced for milk chocolate, dark chocolate and white chocolate. So we'll define MMULT first in the first cell, and then we'll convert it into array with the help of F2 and Control Shift Enter. Okay, and it will spread, the whole formula will be spread over the range of cells and not for a single cell. So we'll define it as is equal to MMULT. As I have said, that the result number of rows in a result should be equal to the array 1. So number of rows in a result is 1. In our result, we want to find out the one row, and in the second table, that is this table, this 300, 400 and 500, that is having a one row. So first array will be this C13 to E13, comma array 2, that is the number of columns of array 2 should be equal to the number of columns of array, the result. So we'll define array 2 as this, bracket over, and the answer is 37,000. So how this 37,000 answer is Excel is calculated? So it will calculate 300 with 50, 400 with 30, and 500 with 20, and then it will give us result. Again, for dark chocolate, it will multiply 300 with 50, 400 with 20, and 500 with 5, and it will give us result. But how to copy paste this data in all the cells? So with the help of array, we can do this thing. We can select all the, we must first select all the cells where we want to find out results. Press F2 and then Control Shift and enter. So it will get converted into array function. It will give us result for all the cells that is we require. Let us do this function in more complex data. When we have a more complex data, how to do the same thing. So we have data like we have 4 factories, factory 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are producing, they want to produce milk and dark chocolates. Like factory 1 want to produce 20 milk chocolate and 0 dark chocolate. Factory 2 want to produce 20 milk chocolate and 1 dark chocolate. Factory 3 want to produce 10 milk chocolate and 5 dark chocolate. Factory 4 want to produce 20 milk and 10 dark chocolate. So what are the ingredients that are required for milk and dark chocolate? For milk, 1 milk chocolate, we need 1 butter, 3 eggs, and 10 sugar. And for dark chocolate, we need 2 butter, 2 eggs, and 5 sugar. And now we want to find out what is the ingredients we need to order for different factories and what is the quantity of ingredients we need to order. So we'll start writing mmult function for the first cell, that is that is E31. We'll first write function for the single cell and then we'll convert it into array with the help of Control Shift Enter. So write down function is equal to mmult bracket start. Now we have two arrays like this and this, but as we have seen that the result number of rows in a result should be equal to number of rows in array 1. So number of result in number of rows in a result is, in our result sheet there are 4 rows, right? We want to find out 4 rows. So what is the number of rows that is equal to which array we must go select first? So here in range 1 there are 4 rows. So we must select first this first range of data, then comma, and for the array 2 we have seen that the number of columns in result should be equal to a number of columns in a array. So range 2 has a 3 columns and our result is having a 3 columns. So we must select second range here in the second argument. Select this and close the data. So for a factory 1, we need 20 ingredient of butter. For the rest of the cells, we must simply select all the data, press F2 and press Control Shift Enter. And this is how we getting the result for the whole set of data. So this with the help of Control Shift Enter, the normal function is getting spread over all the set of cells and this converts into array function. So this is how we can get result with the help of mmult. Okay friends, so this is how we have seen all the formulas. Any questions from any participants? Okay, you repeated this. Just see what is. Okay, so I think there are all the questions are solved. Okay, someone is asking what is FFD? That is Forensic Audit course that is conducted by ICI. Can we get these examples? Yes. Okay, so I am sharing here with the link, Google link of this, all the examples and all the theory solved sheet of this. Just a minute. Okay, so in chat section, I am sharing this Google link of all the examples today, all the examples we have solved today, and just a minute. So this is link of a Excel sheet with theory and all the examples, solved examples. You all can download it or from over here. Also, you can contact me on this given number, and I'll WhatsApp you or mail you the sheet that you require. Okay, so I'll now hand over the session to the.
Should we conclude, ma'am?
Yes, yes. I think
Yeah.
all the questions
So,
are solved now, right?
so ma'am, thank you for this wonderful webinar. This is definitely going to help us in our office work and personal work as well. We have learned many new things. So thank you from once again me and my team from my team of Ahmedabad branch of Vikasa as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.